Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to read aloud this Newsmax article, the article from the right, for your research slide on your current events report. Politics, green energy shift, COVID-19 restrictions ravaged Texas. Last week, Texas experienced a cold snap that resulted in serious statewide damage, death, and destruction. The collapse of the state's energy grid left millions of Texans in the dark and freezing for days at a time. Tragically, at least 30 people died. There are many reasons why Texans became like a third world country, and we should be careful not to pin all the blame on just one factor. So it sounds like right here, they're kind of introducing the fact that they're going to be talking about what caused this current event. So that's going to be something that you could take notes on. But it seems clear that the disaster was to a large degree caused by political decisions to shift towards green energy generated from solar and wind and by Governor Abbott's authoritarian COVID restrictions. So they're saying that this was caused by the shift towards green energy and Governor Abbott's COVID restrictions. So you could add those in your notes. Abbott, who won a Wind Leadership Award just this last month, oversaw the near collapse of wind energy generation last week. Yet the politicization of energy generation in favor of green or renewable alternative sources over natural gas and other fossil fuels has led to the unintended consequences of freezing Texans facing multiple millions of dollars in property damage and worse. So comparing this to what we read in our left-leaning article, like the left-leaning article said, no, it is not green energy. This one's saying, yes, it is green energy. Additionally, federal emissions and other restrictions forced Texans to beg Washington for permission to generate power at higher levels in anticipation of unprecedented demand. Governor Abbott finally received permission from the Department of Energy on February 14th, but by then many facilities found themselves offline due to freezing conditions. So they do mention that the freezing conditions also caused many facilities to lose power. So you could add that for one of your causes in your notes. That's something the left and the right agree on. Why should the federal government be allowed to freeze Texans to death in the name of controlling emissions from energy generation plants? It's a classic example of politics over people. I guess if you want to make a Green New Deal omelet, you have to break a few eggs. While Governor Abbott was quick to blame energy generators and even the State Electric Reliability Council of Texas, NBC News in Dallas reported that ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, did not conduct any on-site inspections of the state's power plants to see if they were ready for this winter season. Due to COVID-19, they conducted virtual tabletop exercises instead, but only with 16% of the state's power generating facilities. So this one, they kind of like allude to the fact that these energy resources weren't ready for winter, but they say, well, it's not the ERCOT Electrical Reliability Council of Texas's fault. It's because the COVID restrictions, they couldn't actually go and tour these different plants to see if they were winterized. So it's COVID's fault that these plants weren't ready for winter. So according to this article, COVID restrictions prevented them from inspecting these plants to make sure they were ready for winter. So you can definitely add that to your bullet points on your notes. Governor Abbott's authoritarian COVID executive orders at least indirectly led to lax inspection, maintenance, and winterization of wind and other energy generation plants. But Texans did not only freeze because of Abbott's COVID restrictions. For the better part of a year, thousands of businesses have been destroyed. Recovering drug addicts and alcoholics have relapsed. Depression and suicides have skyrocketed. Children have been deprived of education. And for what? Texas, with Abbott's restrictions, fared no better than Florida with no restrictions when it comes to COVID cases and deaths. So they've completely shifted from talking about this energy source to COVID. They're saying, look, this whole energy crisis is just another issue because of the COVID restrictions. The Texas governor knew that months ago, when the data from Florida proved that lockdowns, masks, and other restrictions had no effects. But he refused to change course. He refused to follow the brave lead of Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican from Florida, and open Texas completely. Politicians too stubborn or fearful to change course when facts dictate otherwise do not deserve to remain in office. Governors Gavin Newsom in California and Andrew Cuomo in New York are finally facing consequences for their COVID authoritarianism. When the smoke clears, and it's rapidly clearing, many more of these petty tyrants will fail. The list of deposed COVID tyrants may well include Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the slumbering Texas state legislator as well. Let's hope Texans and all Americans will learn from this and more forcefully demand their God given liberty. So, this one is very, very, very right leaning, especially because they just kind of go off course here, like right in the middle, and go on a COVID rant. But you can use the information more at the beginning part of the article to help you with our current event on the Texas energy crisis.